Hey everyone, Mtashed here, and in this video I wanted to talk about the Behemoth Spotlight that Bungie posted this morning, as well as the Bungie Weekly Update. They posted the Weekly Update just a few minutes ago, so I figured, why don't I just cover these both back to back? Now, I want to talk about the Behemoth first, because if you missed it this morning, I just wanted to highlight a few things in this that look really cool. Now, I was pumped about the Warlock Shadebinder. I was really excited to see some of the things there, but we got even more info that will honestly apply to the Shadebinder as well. So this is something that, even if you're a Warlock player or a Hunter player, what they showcase here is important. Now, they kind of talked about the Shadebinder being this freezing subclass that can, lock everything up and put them into ice. But the Behemoth, this is about smashing. This is about slamming, about jamming, and actually controlling the battlefield with ice. Now, they mention in here, you can go read this yourself if you want all of it, but they mention being able to throw up ice fields, stasis icicles that are going to block opponents, which is really cool. But there's something in here that I thought was awesome. They talk about the melee ability where you essentially Superman punch the enemy. You launch into the air like Superman with an explosion at your feet. You wrap stasis ice around your fist, and you go and punch stuff. But there's something in here that I found really interesting. Now it says, this sends your enemies careening backwards and slowing nearby enemies. This actually will disorient your enemies to an extent, and if it's anything like the Arc Strider melee that can, disorient you, this could be really good in both PvP, but also even PvE, because some enemies, when they have that kind of CC and they're stunned like that, they're a lot easier to take down. They're not teleporting around like a captain or a taken captain, so that's going to be very, very good. Okay, so this is pretty nutty. The Behemoth Super Glacial Quake is much like Fist of Havoc in the sense that you're going to slam down to start the super, from what I can tell. Now, when you start that super, you're going to send out a shockwave along the ground of ice, of stasis. You're going to lock up enemies, you're going to kill enemies. It's going to be great. But this part here is what seems really interesting. Covered in armor, the Titan becomes temporarily an unstoppable wrecking machine able to jump higher, faster, and further, all while blasting enemies with greatly increased melee attacks. You're literally gonna run around punching stuff, Superman punching everyone, and it's gonna be great. If this is also gonna make you a little bit tankier, that is awesome. The Glacial Quake Super is like a bowling ball, able to instantly shatter enemies as they sprint or slide through them. What? If enemies are frozen, like from the Shadebinder, you can literally just slide through them and shatter them when you're in your super. That's incredible! That is incredible. Between your abilities and other people's abilities, you can do these crazy chains where you're just sprinting and sliding, doing crazy, shattering stuff. I don't know. This stuff sounds so fun to me, it's not even funny. This sounds more fun to me than a lot of stuff I've seen in Destiny in a long time. Now, here's something that was really cool. It's a little bit small, so I'm going to read it. Shattering a stasis crystal creates a stasis shard. This shard grants melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. So, what I'm reading this as is when enemies are frozen, they're considered a stasis crystal. Now, if you break that, if you slam that, it then sends out almost like those little ionic sparks from Middle Tree Arc Strider. It's going to send out a little thing that you can pick up, like an orb of light, and get a buff. So even if you don't need the melee energy, you're providing some value to your team. That's awesome. Anything for team play is cool. But this one down here, this one is incredible. Slow from your abilities lasts longer. For abilities that linger, their duration will also increase. So does that mean that your wall will have a longer duration because it's considered something that lingers? Will your grenade last longer? I don't truly know, but that sounds like a pretty nice buff because it also gives you 10 strength. Now, on the Warlock, we saw that these fragments gave negative bonuses. Well, if there's ones that give positive bonuses, this might be one of the first opportunities where you can get multiple stats to 100, or just really, really high, and that is awesome as well. I like all the passives and different things, but if I can make my character have really high stats, that is super valuable to me as well, because the more I can grenade, the more I can super, the faster I heal. Those things are going to apply in every single game mode all the time. I love it. This is a good sign that, you know, the customization is there. I could see that this fragment applies to the hunter, right? The hunter is able to put down a slowing field, so if you can just make that last longer, you're going to make that even more effective. These are exotic level changes, and I just can't wait. Now, that's pretty much it. There's some more stuff if you really want to dive into it. I just wanted to give a quick overview or my thoughts. Now, let's talk about the Bungie Weekly Update. Now, the Bungie Weekly Update is chock full of stuff. Let me zoom back up here. They're making some pretty big changes to triumphs, or at least streamlining the triumphs. They have some goals for this stuff. We want to provide pursuits for all players, so you don't have to just be a raider to get access to this stuff. You know, they want stuff that everyone's going to do. Ensure that people can show off their accomplishments, make triumphs have a score and value behind it. So if you're going to go do that tedious thing, your career score of triumph will go up on your character. Just little optimizations that I think are going to be pretty cool. The other thing, too, is the world is evolving, right? We're losing planets, we're gaining other planets. They want to make sure that when they add new planets and new content, they add triumphs associated to it. They want to make sure that if they're adding Europa in, there's a bunch of cool things to do and accomplish and achieve there. And if you are going to go interact with that new world and explore that new world, you should be rewarded for it. If you're going to go conquer Europa and be, you know, the guy doing all the strikes and patrols and all these things, you should probably get a title associated with that. And that's kind of what they talk about in this thing. But also, it's something to remember that there are triumphs that are going away. There are planets that are going away. And some of the things that you need to complete aren't going to be possible. So if you're trying to get all of these triumphs, if you do care about triumphs, you should definitely start picking away at some of these things by November 10th. If you look down here, the Shadow, Reckoner, Blacksmith, Wayfarer, Chronicler, these are going away. These are all going away. So it's important that if you want these, to earn them now, and you have to make sure you equip it. You have to like unlock it and actually equip it, because then it tells the Bungie API, hey, this person has it. Don't just unlock it. You have to unlock it and then equip it to kind of finalize it, verify it on your account as an owner of that title. I know, it's weird, is what it is. But, you know, there's not too much more in here. They're just overhauling some of these systems or streamlining it, I guess. There's just some UI changes going on. Iron Banner is coming in September. September 8th, so that's like next week. And it's going to be all week long. So if you're looking to get some of this armor, cool, you can get some high stat rolls. For me, I'm just hoarding tokens in case next season there's Iron Banner with better weapons and cool armor or whatever. I'm not going to be spending any of it. Just do this, okay? Just get the tokens and save them. But this is another big thing right at the bottom. Better, faster transfer. If you use something like Destiny Item Manager, if you use the companion app, you can now transfer items, and they're saying roughly 10 times faster. What? They're saying that with these changes to the API, with the changes to these third-party apps, you're going to be able to bring over an item, and it's going to be pretty much like that, which is great. If you're in the middle of an activity, you don't want to be sitting there waiting and dragging items over multiple times to get them. This is going to be really valuable for people on console. I know it's really annoying, you know, going into your inventory screens and things like that to move it around. If you have a laptop or even your phone beside you, you can drag items over. I think you can even equip them in most cases. And so that could speed things up a little bit when you're doing activities instead of waiting 9 years for the UI to open. But that's pretty much it for me. I don't have anything much more to say. Thank you guys so much for being here, watching my channel, loving me up. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay, goodbye. Okay.